In a recent podcast episode titled Understanding and Treating Addiction, Dr. Andrew Huberman and Dr. Anna Lembke explore the world of addiction. It is important to understand what addiction is and how it impacts our mental health and willpower. Addiction is an intense craving or drive to relieve a sense of internal pain. Throughout the day, the brain releases a baseline of dopamine. It's a neurotransmitter associated with reward, pleasure, and motivation. The reward mechanisms are activated as we become bored or tired, and as the baseline dopamine levels decrease due to the lack of stimulation, we begin to feel a sense of emotional pain and discomfort. For individuals with normal dopamine levels, small activities like going for a walk, taking out the trash, or eating a good meal give us enough of a dopamine boost for that internal pain to subside. Each time we do an activity that engages or stimulates us, we get a small rush and feel a sense of ease. This is an example of balanced dopamine levels. Our levels of dopamine seesaw throughout the day with our different activities, thoughts, and emotions, where the lows are never too low and the highs are never too high for us to need something a lot greater than everyday tasks and work to find peace in life. Now let's talk about addict and what does it mean to have an addiction. Within addiction, however, the addictive behavior or substance elicits a large dopamine rush as compared to a normal person. And so, as we begin to go back to baseline and later begin to experience a dip in dopamine, because the dopamine rush was so large, the low is so low that the internal pain being felt as we become bored or tired is a lot more excruciating. And therefore, we need even a larger rush than before to feel that peace. As this becomes chronic, our dopaminergic system becomes unbalanced. Our everyday activities begin to have little to no effect, and only the addictive behavior or substance can bring us relief. With time, there's this narrowing of what brings the addict joy and satisfaction. And this narrowing is why many addicts will become indifferent to their job, relationships, and health. Essentially because those activities, people, or values are not part of the very few things that relieve that internal pain. So why does a person become an addict? Dr. Lembke also shared that the reason why we might be more prone to addiction now than ever before is that the majority of the world no longer needs to do things for basic survival. A lot of the things we do, such as having a workout routine, a self-care schedule, hustle side projects, etc., are made up to feed our underlying biological need to do things for our body, care for ourselves, and feel a sense of meaning. The poor today are better off than the poor from the rest of the history. In addition to this, the majority of the world has some form of device, rather it is a phone, tablet, laptop, video game to keep us distracted. And so she describes it as we are never bored and we never not have our basic needs met. This steals from us the natural opportunities that elicit the dopamine reward system in ways it's meant to be elicited. Instead, we find our dopaminergic rushes in meaningful works, going for hikes, reading a good book, and of course, other more detrimental activities like drug and substance abuse, obsessive video games, etc. Now, the most important question to ask is how to quit an addiction and recover from it. Giving this particular answer and solution, Dr. Lembke explains that it is more often the case that an individual can break and recover from an addiction. The most successful way of recovering from an addiction is to rebalance the dopaminergic pathways so that the lows never become too painfully low and our system isn't chronically overloaded with large rushes of dopamine. To do this successfully, she encourages an individual to avoid engaging in the substances or activities that the individual is addicted to for 30 days. She explains that the first 2 weeks are the hardest because the dopamine lows will be emotionally painful, causing the craving for the addiction to be substantial. However, by week 3, a person's baseline will begin to increase again, and the dopamine lows won't be as low anymore, meaning that more everyday activities like conversing with a partner or finishing a small work project will elicit a satisfying load of dopamine. By week 4, most people will have an increase in their mood and may even see a decrease in anxious or depressive symptoms related to the withdrawal. So, it's important to engage in a variety of activities that bring you pleasure, to give yourself the opportunity to live more dopaminergic, balanced life. With conscious awareness, you can avoid becoming addicted and give yourself the space to explore other activities that you might find pleasurable and have a more grounded connection with your everyday life. If you like this video, then comment down your thoughts in the section below. I'll reply to you. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, then do it now. I'll see you in the next video.